Hello, and welcome back to Witchy Ways for Modern Days. This is Brittany, and I guess this is the official episode 1. We did the introduction video, and I wanted to call it 0, but apparently I had to call it episode 1. But this is the actual episode 1. And today, we're talking about grounding. We're talking about grounding energy, which is a topic that comes up quite a bit. Most people, especially when they are starting out on their spirituality journey, have no idea, no concept of what the word grounding means. It gets thrown out a lot. It gets thrown out almost to the point where it kind of becomes, the word becomes static noise, and it's never really explained very well. It really isn't. People do have slightly different definitions on what the word grounding means. So the only thing I can do is give my best work, give my best opinion on it, and hopefully I'm able to help in some way with that. So yeah, we're going to talk about grounding today. Grounding, the best way I can describe it is a way to establish and secure a connection between physical body, spiritual body, and earth. You're not going to be concentrating a whole lot on celestial or source or crown energy during grounding. That's not the point of it. The point is centering yourself in physical body, centering the soul in physical body, while being connected and tied to earth energy. So it's a practice of staying present. If you are not grounded in your body, in the earth, you are not truly present in current time. So you, a lot of the time when people feel kind of floaty, I usually say it's like, oh, I'm not focused today. I feel very foggy headed. I just don't feel like myself. I feel kind of like I'm living in a dream state. Like things feel very dissociating today. When that happens, I know if I'm trying to I'm trying to get to the solution of the problem, I know that it's due to being ungrounded. And the only thing to combat that is to ground yourself, which you can do in a number of ways. So, cool thing, you don't have to do one thing that everybody suggests. You can make up your own techniques if that works better for you. You can listen to me if you would like. You can listen to other people. Grounding, I've found, is something that is very much like a muscle. You have to train it. You have to train yourself in order to do it. And you have to consistently ground yourself throughout your life in order to maintain that muscle, maintain that ability to do it quite quickly. If you get out of the habit of grounding, like if you just don't do it as often as you should, then you may start having problems. Like you might have start having problems with not feeling focused, not feeling that you are in your life, like you are living your life. You might feel like you are living in some sort of automation, like you're living in a video game and you're just kind of a non-playable character that's walking around and making decisions and living your life while you're kind of stuck in the background. So grounding, super, 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 super important. One of the official definitions of grounding is the practice of connecting your energy to the earth to establish balance and harmony. So grounding actually is an energy. It is a supporting energy that is able to stabilize physical and spiritual body, stabilize it, meld them together so that you are in as one in earth element. It's just something that you really should do. I highly, highly, highly recommend at least once a week, right? At least once a week, if that is the bare minimum That's the bare minimum. Ground yourself. If you're doing this super quick version of grounding, if it takes more than 5 minutes, I will be shocked. A proper grounding where you're making sure everything is like, dot your I's, cross your T's sort of thing. A proper grounding might take you 15, 20 minutes. But it's super easy to do these little quick check-ins with body, mind, soul and get back on that even stabilizing energy path. So that is a whole lot of word vomit, right? You might be saying, okay, I have no idea what grounding is still. Still, you have not actually explained what grounding is. It's a hard one. It is really a hard one. But I do firmly believe that grounding is an essential practice in order to maintain your overall health, in order to maintain your overall well-being. And especially if you are someone who is in the spiritual realm, like you are doing, you're on a healing journey, if you do any sort of energy work, if you do any healing work, if you do any chakra work, Reiki, any of those things, especially practitioners of any of those fields, if we are not grounded, then we are not able to help anybody else. Our energy is going to be so unfocused, so chaotic, that we cannot possibly give the best help that we need to, that we should be giving to other people who are seeking it. So very, very important to ground for everybody, not just people who are just starting out the practice. This is a lifelong thing. Nobody should be ever done grounding. All right, so let's talk a little bit about some of the emotional, mental benefits. I'm going to talk a little bit about the physical and spiritual benefits, and then we're going to talk about actually how to ground yourself. Promise we'll get there. So, stabilizing emotions. If you have anxiety, if you suffer from anxiety, if you suffer from feeling scattered, right? Feeling scattered, feeling very like head is very cluttered. Grounding focuses that energy. It will also help you to establish a sense of presence and feel like you are actually properly living your life. You are engaged in the moment, living your own life. It is known, and of course I don't have the studies to prove it right this second. They do exist. Grounding does help to counteract stress. It has been proven that grounding will calm down the nervous system, much like yoga is a practice of grounding, because yoga is a practice of being in one's body, feeling one's body in real time. So that is a form, that is a method of grounding. And then it is super helpful for the body itself to feel safe, because if you're not super grounded and you don't feel settled in your body, especially if you are somebody who perhaps has a history of trauma, a history of something that made you feel unsettled, and your safety net is not, your emotional safety net is not like the most stable, grounding is going to help that significantly. It's not going to fix all of your problems. Unfortunately, it can't, but it can help reduce some of the heaviness, some of the stress by quite a bit, right? All right. And then physical, spiritual benefits. Grounding actually has the ability to absorb any negative energy that you may have attracted, toxic energy that has either come from a situation or from a person around you that has kind of latched itself onto you, is feeding off of you as an energy source. Grounding has that ability to take that energy, neutralize it, decimate it, like it didn't exist. It is a very powerful tool in many different ways. So I highly, highly, highly suggest once a week. Just once a week. And then if you can get up to a point where you're doing it every other day, that would be ideal. Every day would be awesome, but just start with once a week. Okay? That's 4 times a month. In a whole month, grounding yourself, doing a proper grounding session 4 times a month, you can do that. Anybody can do that. You are fully capable of that. And you do not need more than 5 minutes per those sessions. Okay? You don't. So, whether it is at nighttime, let's say it's on a Wednesday night, kids are in bed, you're going to go to sleep to go to work the next day, 5 minutes. You could also do it during a lunch break, right? You eat, you still have about 5-10 minutes before you have to clock back in. Ground yourself. Wake up in the morning, ground yourself. Drink a cup of coffee, finishing grounding yourself, or doing it for the first time after you kind of wake up a bit more. Up to you, but very, very, very important like that. It has been known, grounding has been known to open the energy channel. I call it an energy channel. So the 7 chakras in our body, that is an energy flow. And when we have blockages in chakras, vibrations shift. So the vibrations are not even per the 7 energy points. When that happens, the flow of energy that is meant to come naturally, that is meant to naturally flow between crown all the way down to root chakra, it's like it has been pinched in various areas. So if you have a throat chakra that has a particular vibration that is off from the rest of them, if that's the one that you have to work on the most, you will find, if you do energy work, if you do any sort of Reiki work, and get familiar with how energy feels, you'll find that once you reach that blocked throat chakra, it will almost look like just a pinch, little pinch in a cord, like a little kink in a hose, like a garden hose, and you do like this, especially the older ones. I don't know about the newer ones, but the ones that you do like this, and so it's that kink right there. So the flow of energy in your body is blocked. If the flow of energy in your body is blocked, you are not going to be feeling that great. You're just not. Everything else in your life might be going great, but you still feel off in some way. Something feels off. It's because the grounding energy is not able to flow through you. Therefore, you are unstable. You're in the unstable area, which is never a great place to be because it's an uncertain thing. And being uncertain about energy is possibly one of the scariest things I can think of, right? So definitely. Grounding, super important for energy. It also helps with sleep. It also helps regulate sleep energy, the aura field, as you relax, as you let the conscious mind take a bit of a break, subconscious comes up. It's very important, especially for people who suffer from insomnia. So if you suffer from insomnia, I'm not saying, I will not claim that being ungrounded is the issue, because it's not. It genuinely is not. I know that. We all know that. However, it will be something that is a contributing factor. It will definitely be a contributing factor if you are not able to ground properly. Your sleep is affected. It just is. It really just is. All right, so how to ground yourself. We have arrived at the how to ground yourself section. Congratulations. Okay. And I have been such a good one, and actually written down all my notes so that I don't forget them, because, you know me. Okay. So one of the best and the first way that I recommend people ground themselves is through a process called earthing. So the term is earthing. What that means is you take bare feet. So you take your shoes off, right? You take your shoes off. You're going to go walking in your front or backyard or wherever there is a patch of grass. You're going to stick your toes in the grass, and you are going to dig your heels into the ground, into soil, whatever it is, right? But it needs to be on actual earth. Not talking about like on a porch. I'm not talking about like on a sidewalk. No, you need to be touching grass. If grass isn't available, you need to be touching dirt. If dirt is not available, sand. Like whatever it is. A gravel, I don't suggest. Gravel is not one that I would suggest, but sand, cool, that's fine. Walking on natural surfaces, okay? So you can stand still and let earth element energy flow through you like that, or you can walk around. The physical contact from between your feet and the earth is just as important as like little babies do, like skin to skin, and it's a super regulating experience. Like it is scientifically proven to help regulate emotions, to help regulate the heartbeat for children, to help regulate their body processes in general. Earthing is very much the same thing. It really is. It's very much the same thing. So it's a direct exchange of energy between you and earth, and it immediately starts to allow for centering presence. If you absolutely can't go outside, right? Like there's just no way for you to go outside. Standing on rocks, so as long as they're natural rocks, right? Don't go get an opalite. Do not go get something that's smooth, pretty, awesome, but it's not natural. You're going to be standing on acrylic at that point. So definitely you can consider walking or standing on stone or a soft crystal. There are also tools, I think they're just called grounding mats. I'm pretty sure the term is just grounding mats, and you can Google that or search it on shops or anything. So it's called grounding mats. It kind of stimulates the experience of walking outside. It is a weak substitute to doing the actual thing. But if it's the only way that you can get close to it, I would suggest possibly looking into it, because I do realize that some people live in apartments, some people live where there just genuinely is not, soil, grass, like you could be living in the city. That the mats are a thing that you can use. They're not going to be 100% effective like grounding in earthing can be, but something is better than nothing. Definitely. In this instance, something is better than nothing. You could also, a different way to ground, or at least stay grounded, is to really, really focus in on that root chakra. So some people call it the root chakra. Some people are going to call it the base chakra. It is represented typically in red, so the color red, and it's located right in front of the tailbone. So it's very much in that pelvic region, and that is where that strong grounded energy is. So when we are not grounded, that first base root chakra is completely like all over the place. The energy is crazy, chaotic. It could be vibrating too high. It could be vibrating too low. We don't know. It depends on the person. But if you're not grounded, something with the root chakra is going to be off. Okay. And that's very important that you stay in a centered place with your chakras, because the more of them that are off, or the longer that one or more is vibrating at a different frequency than the others, the more likely it's going to take you additional time and longer to recoup every time your energy gets disrupted by something. So try to make sure that you are kind of tuning in to your chakras. With grounding in particular, it's going to be that root chakra, to make sure that there's not work that needs to be done. Because if there's work that needs to be done, you need to be doing it so that you don't have there's not any cause and effect of like, oh, I should have done this. Now I regret it. Now I have to spend the next month doing, daily exercises for grounding because I didn't do it like I was supposed to do it. And now I have to kind of catch back up. So there's that. You can do that. Water. So water is a great energy connector, right? Water is of earth. So water element comes from earth element energy. So with grounding, we are not super focused on the water element, okay? But we do have it in mind. We keep it in mind because water is very cleansing. It can help definitely as a sort of conduit with clearing and balancing energy. So drink a lot of water, stay hydrated. Especially when you're ungrounded, you need to be drinking even more water than you would usually. Very, very important. And then crystals. So you can use crystals to ground. I only have a few out today because honestly, I just picked the few ones that I had readily available in my office. So we're going to talk a little bit about these. So there are 6 stones here. Now with stones, you can wear them like crystal stones. You can wear them in like a bracelet form, right? Bracelet form, that's a way to do it. You can do it on earrings. You could have a ring. You could carry like a tumble like this in your pocket. You can put things like this on top of countertops that you will be at frequently, like if you have a desk at work, keeping it there. If there's a place at home, even like on a nightstand, keeping it there, that might be a way to go. So these are 6 stones that I would highly, highly recommend for grounding. So the first one is hematite. This one that I grabbed out of my personal collection is a silver hematite. So silver hematites are extremely protective. They're one of the best physical protection stones, but they are heavy, stabilizing energy. So if you have chaotic, unbalanced energy because you haven't been doing your grounding properly, hematite might be one of the first ones that I want you to try, just because it's potent. It's like a slap in the face how quickly it will hit you and start working. So hematite. This is silver. There's such a thing as black hematite. It's beautiful, lovely. Doesn't matter what kind it is, but that's that stone. And then a second one is smoky quartz. Now, smoky quartz on its own is identified as a grounding stone. The reason I like smoky quartz for grounding is because it is actually meant to help absorb and transmute negative energy. So it's going to take out any negative, stale, unbalanced energy from you, transmute it into this very centered energy within the body, spiritual and physical. Then we've got tourmaline. Now tourmaline is also a protection stone. It's one of the best physical protection stone. But if you're using it for grounding, it purifies energy, right? So hematite's going to stabilize energy. Tourmaline is going to purify it. It is going to take whatever chaotic mess of energy you've got going on, and it's going to help strip it of its heavy or negative emotions. It's going to take that heaviness, pull it right out. And then we've got desert jasper, aka polychrome jasper. If you're doing earthing, desert jasper is like the closest thing in crystal form I can tell you would be as close to earthing as possible. So holding a piece or wearing a piece of desert jasper, aka polychrome jasper, while you are feet in the ground, while you are walking around your yard, whether you're walking around, let's say even a forest, something cool like a forest, having desert or polychrome with you will help to center and balance your energy. And then the last of the stones, and I only had it in my personal collection as little points, but this is something called moss agate. And moss agate is such a strong nature stone. So holding a piece of moss agate feels very much like holding twigs, like leaves, like a bundle of leaves that you've picked up off the ground, sticks that you've picked up off the ground. When you hold it, you feel that heavy, strong, almost stubborn earth element energy. So wearing or carrying a number of these different stones is going to be quite helpful for you. And then there are many different exercises you could do for grounding. My absolute favorite technique for grounding is something that I call the cord visualization exercise. So the cord visualization exercise is when you sit, so you're either sitting in a chair properly, good posture, or you're sitting on the ground. What you're going to do is you're going to close your eyes, and then you're going to visualize a ball of yarn. Okay, so make the ball of yarn your favorite color. In this case, I typically don't actually use my favorite color with this one, but I feel like it would maybe help more people. So I use red because I feel like red is quite urgent, and red is going to be a powerful color for this yarn. So your eyes are closed. You've imagined the ball of yarn. Imagine the ball of yarn is living right behind your belly button. So it is right behind your belly button, tight in a ball. You're going to start to visualize the string, so the end of that ball of yarn, coming down, straight down. It's going to leave your body. It's going to go and sink into the earth, and then it's going to sink more into the earth. And you're going to visualize it for as long as it takes for you to imagine and see that the end of that yarn hits the core of the earth, so that you are bound and tethered to the core of the earth. I want you to sit with it for a few minutes. Just feel that energy, feel that cord connection between right behind the belly button and the core of the earth. Feel it, acknowledge it, feel settled in it, feel safe. And then when you are ready, let's try 60 seconds, okay? 60 seconds is the first obstacle I'm going to give you. Try doing that. When those 60 seconds are over, open your eyes, shake it off, stretch it off, whatever you got to do. Take an energy temperature check. Just see how you feel. I promise you that you don't feel any worse. You could feel a little bit better. You could feel a hell of a lot better. So that is the yarn behind the belly button technique, which might sound like a silly thing. 100% is my favorite way to ground. Such a good way to ground because it's easy. It requires no tools. All it requires is an imagination. And a lot of us have imaginations. We can do that. No problem. When you come up from that grounding exercise, though, I don't want you to leave the cord down, and I don't want you to cut it. When you're done, when you're like, okay, I feel grounded, awesome, or the timer goes off, visualize that ball of yarn starting to twist and turn and pull the end of it slowly back up. And then when it's up, you're going to tuck it under behind the belly button still. Keep that visualization that it stays there as you open your eyes, so that you go throughout your day feeling that grounded energy, and you feel it right at your core. And then if you feel later that you need to readdress it, that you need to do it again, awesome. That's so wonderful. Be my guest. Okay. What else did I write down for us? Okay, well, you can always use grounding products. Like you can use grounding oils, you can use grounding sprays. Bath soaks are an actually really popular thing for energy focused practice. So perhaps recommend that. And then I want to talk a little bit about deities. Earth deities, or deities that you can use or call upon for earth element energy. So the first one, the most popular one by far, is Gaia. So Gaia is the Greek goddess of the earth. Then there is the Celtic goddess of the earth, and she goes by Danu. There's the Roman goddess of the earth, that is Terra, Terra. There are several. So the Aztec Mother of Earth, her name is Coatlicue, the serpent goddess. And then you could do gods. You could do Sylvanus. You could do Cernunnos. There are many different deities that you can call upon for earth element energy. And we will get into how to communicate with deities, how to work with them, how to channel that energy. We will get to that, I promise. It's not going to happen in this episode, but it will happen. And I hope that you stay tuned for it. So I hope that you were able to learn at least a little bit about grounding, what it means, why it is actually important, and why it's such a buzzword in the spiritual community, because it truly is an insane, crazy amount of times used sort of buzzword. So please, if you are able, consider subscribing to the Patreon. The Patreon is just under Witchy Ways for Modern Days. The audio is available for free on Apple Podcast and Spotify. If there are any topics that you would like to potentially listen to, be interested in hearing my opinion on, feel free to let me know. You can either email me or you can join the Patreon and submit your own comments, messages, requests. That's totally cool. And yeah, if you wouldn't mind hitting the 5 stars on either Apple or Spotify, that would be wonderful. I would really, really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining me. I hope to see you next time. And yeah, have a wonderful rest of your day. Blessed be.